Ankara?
Absolutely.
And I want just to have your remarks and your opinion about the Congress and your visit.
Well, I'm so happy to be here with a lot of people that Professor Haberal'ın was able to put together from literally the entire planet. Professor Haberal'ın is a pioneer and is recognized as such from all of us, and you know, it's very important to celebrate in 25 years from the first liver transplant here in Turkey, and 50 years from the first liver transplant performed by Dr. Starzo in Denver in 1963.
What about Rome? Let me ask some special questions about that.
Well, you know, being now for the last 5 months the mayor of Rome, the capital of Italy, is a very demanding and tough job, but you know, it's almost like taking care of a patient. You need really to think about a lot of things. Hopefully we can invest more in art, culture, archaeology, and you know, maybe this will be an opportunity to get in touch again with your wonderful country and town.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let me remind you that Professor Ignazio Marino is also mayor of Rome, Italy. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Discussant who will be talking on the history of organ transplantation, Professor Ignacio Marino, who is currently in Rome, as you know, but was also in the United States for a period of time. Ignacio, thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning to our chairperson, Dr. Busuttil and Dr. Karagioglu, and to my fellow speakers. Among them, I found people that I haven't seen in ages. First of all, I would like to thank you, Professor Haberal'ın, for inviting me here and offering me the chance to rejoin this extraordinary community at a time when my main occupation is no longer patients and operating room, but city budget, public transportation, waste disposal, and citizen healthcare. Since last June, I've been the mayor of Rome, but I remain a liver transplant surgeon at heart. I would also like to express my joy for being here with Professor Haberal'ın, eventually lifted from the unbearable weight that oppressed him in the past years. You are a unique example for all of us. I would like to review with you today some of the major milestones of the exciting story of organ transplantation. Let me see. There. Okay. Humankind has always shown an interest in the removal of tissue from one site and placement to another site in the same person or different person. Interesting descriptions of transplantation exist in mythology, religion, and literature. Hindu texts from 3000 before Christ provide detailed description of using skin grafts cut from a patient's own buttock or chin for reconstruction of noses mutilated by punishment for crimes committed. Lord Ganesha, shown on this slide, is said to have been the son of Parvati and Shiva. Trying to defend his mother Bhatt, he was beheaded by Shiva, who later was persuaded to revive him. He promised Ganesha that he would have the head of the first creature who happened along. An elephant, the wisest of animals, appeared and became the donor of the first successful legendary transplant. The chimera was famous in Greek mythology. It had parts of various creatures, the head of a lion, the body of a goat, and the backside of a snake. Homer writes about it in the Iliad. On this slide, you can see the bronze statue on display at the Archaeological Museum of Florence, and supposedly made by the Etruscans around 400 before Christ. The Chinese physician Pian Chao reportedly exchanged the hearts between a man of strong spirit but weak will and a man of weak spirit but strong will to achieve a balance. The Bible describes several instances that in principle would be defined as auto-transplantation today. Jesus restored a servant here, while St. Mark reimplanted the battle-amputated hand of a soldier. In the book Legenda Aurea, the miracle of the black leg is described with Cosmas and Damian replacing gangrenous leg with one from a recently deceased Ethiopian soldier. The Swiss surgeon Theodor Kocher made the goiter operation a safe procedure. It took years until he noticed that patients who had undergone radical thyroidectomy developed hypothyroidism. In July 1883, he transplanted thyroid tissue into a patient who had undergone radical thyroidectomy. These studies earned him the Nobel Prize in Physiology in 1909. Alexis Carrel's interest in transplantation was first manifested in 1902 in Lyon, when he transplanted a kidney from a dog's abdomen to its neck. In 1904, Carrel refined his techniques of vascular anastomosis, developing the triangulation method that is obviously so important in transplantation. He was Nobel laureated in 1912. Charles Lindbergh married 2 years after his internationally celebrated solo flight from New York to Paris. His sister-in-law had rheumatic mitral valve disease, and Lindbergh observed the progressive deterioration of her health. Lindbergh's inventive engineering mind became curious about why a heart-lung machine could not keep a patient alive while surgeons operated inside the heart. In 1930, his inquiries led him to the laboratory of Alexis Carrel. During the next 5 years, Lindbergh and Carrel built a pump that perfused organs with pulsatile flow and oxygenated the perfusion fluid. It was the world's first pump oxygenator. Advances in transplantation were initially slowed by World War I and the Great Depression. The field was resuscitated because of the severe burns caused by the V-2 rocket's attack over London. Peter Medawar investigated the mechanisms of skin allograft rejection and found that skin grafts between monozygotic twins were tolerated. Gertrude Ilion and George Hitchings had collaborated since 1945. They tried to improve the therapeutic properties of 6-mercaptopurine. The result was azathioprine, which replaced the mercaptopurine. With the help of Dr. Starzo in 1992, I had the chance to collaborate with Gertrude Ilion on a paper, and I can testify